Good morning to all my wonderful viewers out there. Welcome back to our not so weekly podcast series, Sneakers and Stuff. Welcome to episode 12. It's finally here. I've been working on it for ages. It is many pages long. We have got a lot to cover in this episode. Some of the big topics that we're going to be covering in today's episode is, for example, Antisocial Social Club's Fall/Winter 2020 collection, Kith's Winter collection, also called the Kith and Kin Winter 2020 collection, and of course, just another little winter collection as well, which is Golf's upcoming Winter 2020 collection, or at least the first drop in that. These three big topics, and obviously many more, are going to be covered in today's episode. So yes, guys, over the past couple nights, I have been coming home from work after my 2 till 8 p.m. shift, working from 8 p.m. to midnight, writing up episode 12, because I've just been like, look, we didn't get it done last week. If we don't get it done this week, it's going to be forever until episode 12 is being done, so I had to do it, and have finally written up episode 12. There are so many recent releases, because remember, I've got to cover like Black Friday, I've got to cover the start of December. So much released over the past 2 weeks. We're also going to be covering, of course, all the upcoming releases that are happening this week. We've also got a lot of streetwear news, everything like that. It's all going to be covered in today's episode. So episode 12 is going to be a big one. It's basically going to be the winter episode because there are a lot of winter collections that we need to cover and we need to talk about, guys. So as always, like all the other podcast episodes, this is going to be broken up into 8 sections. We have section 1, which is going to be Sunday's Best Dressed, a part of the podcast that I dedicate to you guys sending me fit pics in, and me also dressing up in an outfit on Sunday. And usually, I mean, we would ideally have the episode uploaded on a Sunday, so it would all kind of work out there, but anyway, we'll ignore that it's Wednesday at the moment. We then move on to section 2, which is Heat on My Feet, where I talk about a sneaker or retro that I have recently been enjoying over the past week. We move on then to section 3, which is recent pickups. Obviously, the part of the podcast where I dedicate to any recent pickups that I have done in the streetwear, fashion, sneaker, or jewelry world. Moving on to section 4, we have recent releases. That will include recent sneaker, fashion, streetwear, and jewelry releases done across various different brands. That is normally our biggest section, mainly because I don't do the podcast weekly enough. So it ends up being the biggest section when it shouldn't be the biggest section, but that's okay. That's okay. We have fun with recent releases anyway. So moving on from section 4, which was recent releases, we head on over to section 5, which is streetwear and fashion news and rumors. We'll discuss lookbooks that have recently propped up, which I think are really cool. Obviously news and rumors in the streetwear and fashion world. That's all discussed there at section 5. Moving on to section 6, we have the opposite, sneaker news and rumors. So any leaks, any apparent upcoming sneaker releases in like 2021 and beyond, that'll be covered there. Then to our final 2 sections, we'll start with section 7. We have upcoming streetwear and fashion releases. That's where I will cover this week's upcoming streetwear and fashion releases. We'll be covering things, you know, like Supreme's latest week, Palace's latest week, and a bunch of other brands' upcoming releases that I think are really cool. And then our final section, section 8, can you guess it? If we've just covered the streetwear and fashion releases this week, section 8 is going to be dedicated to the upcoming sneaker releases this week. Now, just speaking on that quite quickly, I've got dates for all the upcoming releases. So the upcoming releases for sneakers and streetwear and fashion is from the 7th of the 12th to the 13th of the 12th. So this coming Sunday. So some of the stuff may have already released, as it's, what is it today? It's the 9th. So some of the upcoming releases that happen on the 7th and 8th may have already happened. Sorry, I didn't want to include them in recent releases because yeah, recent releases is looking really long when it's 2 and a bit pages. So I didn't want to make that any longer than it needed to be, but that's okay. That's all right. So we'll head on over now to our first section in the podcast today, guys, which is going to be Sunday's Best Dressed. Now, if you guys want to be featured in Sunday's Best Dressed in the next episode that happens, make sure to post a fit on Instagram, forward it my way with the hashtag Sunday's Best Dressed in the message that you forward it to me with. You can break down the outfit there. That's how you feature in the episode. Unfortunately, we have no outfits for episode 12. Not a big drama. I'll just dress up and have fun anyway, which is what section 1 is going to be today. So let's head on over and have a look at the outfit that I compiled for section 1, which is Sunday's Best Dressed. Now, this week, guys, we've actually got a repeat of, well, not an exact repeat, but a pretty close repeat to a previous outfit that I've had on the channel before. Yeah, I kind of just went with something a little bit more preppy, I guess, for this Sunday's Best Dressed. I went with just a vintage button-up tee and the Yohji Yamamoto Supreme knit that released in the Fall-Winter 2020 season. I've really been getting around the knit. I absolutely love it. The graphic on it is awesome. Again, my only critique still is that I wish the rubberized lettering on the front was actually a part of the knit and not on top of the knit. Either way, it's an awesome knit. I absolutely love it. It works really, really well with button-up tees, and you know, just chucking on some jeans with some Converse just worked really, really well for me. So that is gonna be my Sunday's Best Dressed for this episode. And that was section 1, guys. Sunday's Best Dressed. We'll now move on to section 2, but just quickly before that, I'd just like to say, hey, if you want to feature in section 1 for episode 13, post a fit pic on Instagram, forward it to me, send me hashtag Sunday's Best Dressed, and if you want, you can break down the outfit there, and you'll get a little feature on a podcast. What about that? That'd be a good time, right? Now we'll move on to section 2, which is heat on my feet. So a sneaker or retro that I have recently been enjoying, or a shoe in general that I've been enjoying in this case. For this week, it's gonna go to, it hurts to say a pretty generic shoe, because it's a really good shoe. It's really, really versatile. You can wear it with so many different outfits. It's really cheap. They last a while, and if you break them, well, as I mentioned, they're very cheap to replace, so it's not even a huge worry if you destroy a pair. I have recently been destroying a pair while going skating, and I've honestly just been really enjoying them as a pair of shoes. The shoe that I'm going to put for episode 12 as a sneaker that I have been recently enjoying in heat on my feet, it's going to go to, I know, as I said, pretty generic, but it's going to be the All-Star Chuck 70 highs. Well, yeah, Converse Chuck Taylor All-Star 70s in the high cut. I love them. I've recently been tearing them up while skating. I've really been enjoying them in a lot of outfits that I've been wearing, as just showcased in, Sunday's Best Dressed. They're just really, really versatile. I honestly would love to pick up just a pair that's like a collab, but the problem is that all the collabs with Converse, they always end the sizing like size 13, and you guys know, big old size 16, 17 here. So I can only get the original Converse, so that's kind of unfortunate. But I mean, there's a positive side to it. A lot of the times the size 16 and 17s don't sell, and they end up at like outlets and stuff. So I'm able to pick them up like a little bit cheaper than normal Converse, but I would just like some like size 16 Fear of God Essentials ones, because I recently saw someone wearing the Fear of God Essential high top ones, and I was like, damn. I've talked about them on the channel, but seeing them in person, they're hitting different. So yeah, I would love a collab pair. I should just, well, no, not with coronavirus going on, but I should go to a Chrome Hearts store and get them Chrome Hearts, shouldn't I? That'll be my special collab. We'll be like, Chrome Hearts, can you Chrome Hearts my size 16 Converse high tops for me? I'd go buy a fresh pair. I wouldn't use this like scuffed pair that I have here, but there you go. I could do that. It would only cost me a couple grand. But yeah, this episode, it's gonna go to the Converse Chuck Taylor All-Star high tops. An amazing shoe, and I'm definitely going to be skating in these hopefully this Sunday, and also working on episode 13 as well. Don't worry, guys, don't worry. But I want to hear from you. What is your heat on your feet this week? What has been a recent retro sneaker or shoe that you've been enjoying? let me know. Let me know down in that comment section below. But that is heat on my feet this week, guys. Pretty basic, I know, Converse Chuck 70s. We'll head on over now to section 3, which is my recent pickups. So, section 3, recent pickups. We've actually got a few this week. We've got a few of them that I was kind of surprised when I actually wrote them down. I'm like, oh yeah, over the past 2 weeks I actually have picked up some stuff. Most of it is from eBay, not gonna lie. But yeah, some of it is some new stuff as well. So we'll start off by covering the first recent pickup that I have picked up, which is the 4444 Wolf Tapestry crewneck sweater. I'll just bring it on over now. We unboxed this on the channel. I have been waiting for it for ages. As I mentioned in my unboxing video, it got stuck in Hong Kong for over a month, and then it finally got sent over to me. But yes, the 4444 Tapestry crewneck sweater here features Tyler the Creator's Wolf album cover on the front of it, as well as the extra artwork on the back of it there. It's a really nice piece. I go into more of an in-depth review in the unboxing video, so if you want to go check that out, just go to the unboxing playlist on the channel and you'll definitely see the video there. It's probably the second or third most recent video in that one there, but yeah, no, super solid piece. I'm really keen to pick up some future 4444 pieces, but yeah, it's he's only doing monthly drops now, and the pieces that I want aren't dropping in the latest drops. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. But yeah, that is going to be my first pickup for this week. Now, moving on, we have a championship jacket. A very, very heavy NBA championship jacket. I haven't actually been able to wear it because, if you guys may or may not know, down in Australia, we're in the southern hemisphere, so our seasons are flipped to you guys in the northern hemisphere. So while you're freezing your butts off, I'm sweating mine off, unable to wear heaps of jackets and stuff. I'm literally like even champion reverse weave hoodies, we're kind of pushing it there. So I've been unable to wear this piece as much as I want to wear it, but it's just really, really solid. What I have for my second recent pickup today is the 1998 repeat Jeff Hamilton Chicago Bulls leather jacket. This is heavy. This is a heavy piece. You just feel like going from the tapestry piece to this leather jacket. You just feel the weight to it. But 3XL as well. So what we have here is the jacket. I unboxed it on the channel. So again, if you want to see a more in-depth review and see it on body, there's an unboxing video. But yes, we have the 1998 repeat Chicago Bulls leather jacket. I really like this piece because the individual strips are cut up here. You can see there's little sections for each individual piece there. I think that's really cool and very classic of Jeff Hamilton. Let me just turn it around. We have a huge leather applique design. So that's all embroidery up here with the championship trophies. That's a leather piece for the Chicago Bulls with all embroidery for the eyebrows and everything like that. It's very, very well done. Lots of detail always put into Jeff Hamilton jackets. This is probably my most recent Jeff Hamilton jacket. And by most recent, I mean that the one closer to today's date. So this was 1998. The rest of the ones that I have are 90s, maybe even late 80s. So yeah, this would be the most recent one that I have. And oh, jeez, it's so heavy. This is why I can't wear it now, because it's just such a beefy piece. It's going to be perfect for winter though, perfect for winter. But yes, this is my second recent pickup, guys, which is the three-peat, as you can see, repeat 1998 Chicago Bulls championship leather jacket. A very, very nice piece there. Oh, it feels so much better not having to hold that piece. So much leather. 3XL, so much leather, super heavy piece. We'll now move on to another Jeff Hamilton jacket, actually, but this one is thankfully a lot lighter. For my final recent pickup, guys, another Jeff Hamilton jacket, and I can already, just so much lighter than that all leather jacket. This one I could probably actually wear in summer with just a shirt because it's nowhere near as heavy, because it doesn't feature as much leather. It's also a very, very early Jeff Hamilton piece. What I have here is simply no championship, no special, iconic moment in NBA history, but just a normal Jeff Hamilton Chicago Bulls jacket. Simply features the Chicago Bull logo on the front. Simply features an embroidered Chicago Bulls done in their iconic font up the top. And then a nice little embroidered, I think it's suede, it feels like suede, Chicago Bulls pattern down the bottom there. Very, very nice piece. As I said, not a lot of leather on this piece. It's just on the shoulders here. That is leather. And down the arms here, where you can see he's got his embroidered logo there. That's really about it. Oh, and also the little lines down here. But that's cord down here, I think. Yeah, there's not too much leather on this piece, but it is a really, really solid piece. I unboxed this one on the channel as well. I picked this one up from the Social Vintage, which is an Australian vintage store that sells a lot of Americana, which is really, really good. Yeah, really, really solid piece. This is my last recent pickup, guys. A very Chicago Bulls American themed recent pickup section for episode 12, guys. As I say, I'm always buying stuff for winter. I'm buying stuff for the wrong seasons. I need to start buying stuff for summer. Gonna have no outfits for summer, but that is all my recent pickups, guys. I want to hear from you down in that comment section below. What has been some recent sneakers, clothing, jewelry you have been picking up? Let me know. Let me know down in that comment section below. We'll move on now from section 3, from recent pickups into recent releases. Get ready, guys. This is going to be a big section. The reason that recent releases is so big is because I delayed episode 12 because I was just so busy working every day. And yeah, it just for episode 12 has made it mean that I have to cover such a huge period of time. So recent releases is going to be covering not all, but most of the releases that I put a pin in from the 16th of November to the 5th, oh sorry, no, to the 6th of December. So like 2 weeks, man. Lots of releases to cover in that time period. I know, so buckle in because it's a long one. So to start it off with, the first release that we're going to be talking about is the recent Brain Dead Converse collaboration. Right when Brain Dead released their Holiday 2020 capsule, they also released a Converse collaboration. It was on 2 silhouettes. It was on the All-Star Chuck 70s, and it was also on the other model, which is the Bosey, I think it is, the Converse Bosey. Now, the Chuck 70s released in either a black or a cow print. The cow print, not for me. I'm not a huge fan of shoes with a lot of animal print on it. I don't mind it in little strips. So, you know, the Air Jordan 3 is totally fine for me. But when you dump a lot of it on there, it turns me off the shoe. I was a big fan of the black ones. I wish they released in my size. But as I mentioned before when I was doing the heat on my feet, they never release collabs in bigger than a size 13. So missing out on those. I really like the midsole on these. I thought it was a really interesting reimagination of the Converse Chuck 70s there. They released on November 17th for 120 Great British pounds on their web store. They also released a little bit later, I think it was like 2 days later, on a bunch of retailers that stock Brain Dead as well. And also just to cover the Bosey as well, the Brain Dead Converse Boseys, they released in an ivory and black colorway for $140 US. They released a little bit later on the 19th of November there. Not a huge fan of that silhouette, to be honest. I was more of a fan of the Chuck 70s there, but still a solid collaboration. As I just covered it all, the Chuck 70s released on the 17th, while the Bosey released on the 19th there. But we'll head on over now and cover the next recent release I've got installed for us. And that, of course, is in the very hyped up Nike Dunk Low Cactus Plant Flea Market release. Now, they released in 2 colorways. I initially thought one of the colorways was friends and family only. Turns out it's just more exclusive. So you potentially still could get it, but it was more exclusive. But honestly, in my opinion, not that good. What we had is we had the Dunk Low being done up by Cactus Plant Flea Market, covered in Swarovski crystals. It released in 2 colorways. One colorway, which is the pure platinum, and the second colorway, which is called the Spiral Sage. This like greeny, goldy colorway. That one was my least favorite out of the 2, but it was also the most limited. They were both showcased to us by ASAP Bari. They both released on November 18th. You also want to know what they both retailed for? $550 US. Just absolutely insane, guys. Imagine skating in them. Imagine just losing a crystal out of the shoe. Like, it's an item that I would keep in the box and probably not wear too often, because I'd just be afraid that, like, maybe it was badly manufactured and one of the Swarovski crystals will just pop out. Like, it's just, yeah. And also just the shoe itself, I can't wear something like that. That's just way too wild for me. I want to hear from you guys in that comment section below if you could wear the Dunk Low Cactus Plant flea markets, but they were just way too crazy for me. Either way, both colorways released on November 18th. Moving into my favorite New York skating brand, we have that Supreme released week 13 of their Fall/Winter 2020 collection on November 16th. We had that Stone Island, we had the Stone Island collaboration that released in that week. It had no pieces for me. None of them really spoke to me. I was kind of hoping they would do an overcoat. I'm a huge fan of overcoats and trench coats and stuff like that. They just look really, really nice over the top of a hoodie in like the colder seasons. It's just such an iconic look. Unfortunately, they didn't release any, so nothing here for me. Some cool pieces were the Crinkle down jacket, although the paint on them was pretty gross. It showcased like the white gaps in between the sections of it. It just didn't look very nice, but that released. We had the glow-in-the-dark knit balaclava. That was a bit of a laugh, so you could get some balaclavas where the compass logo glowed in the dark, or depending on which color you got, a whole piece glowed in the dark. It was pretty wild. And then one other standout piece from that collaboration was the Corduroy Jacket. That one I didn't mind too much. I just kind of wish it wasn't hooded. I wish it was collared. Collared jackets, for me, are way more superior than hooded jackets. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Let me know in that comment section below if you disagree with me on that one, but collared ones are always my preference. And also, on top of that, on top of the Stone Island collaboration, we also got some pieces that they released. We got the pearl hooded sweatshirt, which is alright. It featured a nice little graphic on it. We had the dry wax cotton camp caps, some very solid camp caps that week. And also the big logo paneled zip-up hooded sweatshirt. I honestly think this should have been done without the zip-up. It would have been a much more solid piece, but for some reason we're still doing zip-up hoodies in 2020. For whatever reason. But that was everything that I thought really stood out in week 13 of Supreme's Fall/Winter 2020 collection, and that all dropped on November 16th. Moving on, we have that Supreme released week 14 of their Fall/Winter 2020 collection. This dropped on November 27th. It was moved from the 26th to the 27th because the 26th was Thanksgiving, and that conveniently moves it on to Black Friday, does it not? I think it does. Either way, a couple nice pieces released in this week. We had the Faux Fur Jacket, again, feeling the same way like I was in week 13. Don't make hooded jackets, make collared jackets, but that's just me, maybe. We also had a reflective speckled down jacket. It was a nice down jacket with little bits of speckled 3M throughout. It was pretty cool, came in a bunch of cool, simple colors that you could wear it in. We also had the Polartec, essentially capsule release in that week. The hooded sweatshirt was probably the best piece in it. Polartec, it's a material that I could miss out on. I don't really like the look of it. It just doesn't look that nice, and it ages you a lot. Kind of like staying young. But that's just me, maybe. But yeah, kind of like staying young. We also got the Anti-Hero collaboration releasing in that week, which was the Atmosphere urine clothing, where they had like atmosphere urine all over everything, because they cut up Supreme and Anti-Hero's names, their brand logos, and they stitched them back together for Atmosphere urine. It's just a really whack design. We got some skateboards, we got a hoodie, and we got a pretty funny tee, which was the balcony tee. I think from memory that featured Michael Jackson dropping the kid, which I just thought was a bit like, but at the same time I was like, very classic Supreme to do something like that. That was everything that I thought was notable that released in week 14, and it all dropped on November 27th. Now, of course, we've covered week 13, we've covered week 14, we've now got to cover week 15 because that released on December 3rd, and remember, all the recent releases is up until the 6th, so technically it's in the time frame. So yes, week 15, we had some big items releasing in that week. We had the Crossbox logo hooded sweatshirt, which is obviously one of the most sought after pieces this season. It is doing horribly on the secondary market. Supreme box logos are finally calming down in their hype factor, which I gotta say, thank God. It's been too many years. Remember back in like 2014 or 15 when they were all costing like $1,000 USD. Now because so many being pumped out, it's lowered the secondary market price. Thank God. Yeah, these are doing horrible in the secondary market. They're only getting like 2 times the retail price, if anything coming below that sometimes. I didn't mind a couple of the colors, but I'm not looking to pay a lot for them. I'm honestly going to wait a couple months until some people wear them once or twice, realize they're super hyped, get a fit pick, and then they sell them cheap on Grailed. That's going to be my time to come in, you know? But it released in week 15 if you guys are interested. We also got the New Era Crossbox logo beanies as well. Wasn't really vibing with those too much. If I wear beanies, I wear hoods over the top of the beanie with only the brim showing. So if the box logo is on the top of the beanie, I'm kind of missing out that whole point. So I'm not really a fan of the Crossbox logo beanies. And in that week as well, we got some pieces that kind of went under the radar. We got the Refrigiwear Iron Tough jacket. I thought that was a super sick piece with a kind of cool graphic on the back of it. That went under the radar because of the box logo release, obviously. I think that's a really noticeable piece that we really have to put a pin in. I'm hoping that people sell it on Grailed in either the black or blue colorway, like down the line for a little bit cheaper, because I wouldn't mind picking that piece up. It's a very nice jacket, and you guys know I love my jackets. But yeah, that is week 15 of Supreme's Fall Winter 2020 collection that dropped on December 3rd. Now, of course, if we just covered Supreme, we've got to go travel over the world a little bit to the UK and cover our favorite UK skating brand, which is Palace Skateboard. Palace released their 8th week of their Winter 2020 collection on November 20th. This consisted of the Moschino collaboration with some absolutely wild pieces. When I did the drop list video, I was being hopeful. I was like, you know what? Maybe it'll release for Palace prices. You know, maybe we'll have a good time. It'll be expensive, but not super expensive. Boy, was I wrong. It released for Moschino prices, and goddamn, I can't believe people bought heaps of the pieces because they were so expensive. We had the Hug Me jacket, which was the leather Sherpa jacket with the Sherpa hands on the back that said Hug Me. That released for like £1,700, and I was like, bruh, I do not have that money at all to buy that jacket. That is ridiculous. We also had the Sky Puffer, which I thought was a really nice piece from the front, but as soon as you look at that back graphic, I was like, gross. That thing released for like a couple £100 as well. We also had my favorite piece, which was the Duck Knit, which was the iconic Palace Duck chillin' with some Moschino chains. That released for like £350, and I was like, it's just too much money. I'm too broke to afford that stuff. It's just way too expensive. But yeah, what a way to send off the winter collection by releasing a collaboration that nobody can afford, or at least most of Palace's demographic cannot afford. Absolutely wild, guys. But yeah, all those pieces released on November 20th, and honestly, if you go check out Palace's web store, there might still be some of them left there because it was just so expensive that week. Moving on, we had Palace releasing their Ultimo 2020 Week 1 on November 27th, obviously a week after their final week of their winter collection. We got some absolutely wild pieces in Week 1. We had the Golden Bear Varsity Jacket. This was the Shakespeare one with all the Shakespeare graphics on it. I was staying hopeful when covering the drop list for Week 1. I was like, look, maybe it'll be a nice little Palace Varsity jacket, no collaboration, and it'll be like £350, right? Like the Whitney Houston one. They collaborated with Golden Bear, which is awesome because Golden Bear gives you amazing quality products, right? Problem is that Golden Bear Varsity jackets by themselves, no collaboration included, are generally around $500 US. So the bare minimum this jacket was going to come in for was like $500 US. So yeah, when I loaded up the store page and saw in week 1 that it was a Golden Bear one, I could understand why it was retailing for like £798. Like, it was dumb expensive. Next we had the tri-camo hoodie that released in that week, a nice little tri-fur hoodie with a camo pattern on it. That one was an instant sellout. And another noticeable piece that released in week 1 of the Ultimo 2020 collection was the Chili Duck crew neck. Palace duck chilling on the front with the back of it showcasing and Palace written over the shoulders. I actually quite like that piece. The neck lining was a little bit weird, but either way, it was a very, very solid piece. All of those released in week 1, which dropped on November 27th. Moving on, we had week 2 of Palace's Ultimo 2020 collection releasing on December 4th. So literally 2 days before my recent releases end. We had a lot of cool pieces releasing in week 2. We had the Pulaski Knit, which released in 3 colorways, blue, black, and pink. The only colorway to sell out was the blue colorway, obviously, because it was the most sought after colorway of that piece. I didn't end up going for it. I have held off a little bit on buying new pieces of clothing because there are a couple pieces that I'm just like really after and my closet's filling up. I need to like expunge some of it that I just don't wear, you know, some like vintage pieces that I never wear anymore. But I just didn't feel like I needed that knit, and I've already got a bunch of knits that you guys can see over in the corner there on top of my record player there. So I've got a knit collection already. It's all right. We stocked up on the knits. We've also got releasing in week 2 the Flames Hoodie. This was just a nice Palace hoodie with Palace written on the chest, flames around the Palace logo, embroidered onto the piece. It was solid. My favorite color was the white color of it, and that was actually the only color not to sell out in my size, so I could actually pick up that hoodie, but I do have a lot of hoodies at the moment, so maybe I should hold off on picking up more hoodies. But a very, very solid piece there. And another big piece that released in week 2 was the Polartec Laser Hood in various different colors. The iconic color that everyone was freaking out about was the multicolor one, the one with a lot of patchwork on it. Featured a tri-ferg on the back, very sought after piece, had matching sweatpants. If you want to go check out week 2's full drop list, I've obviously done a drop list video for it, guys. But yeah, no, week 2 of the Ultimo collection was extremely solid as well, and it all dropped on December 4th. Moving on, we're going to be covering one of the big collections now that I have mentioned at the start of the video, which is the recent Kith and Kin Winter 2020 collection. This dropped on November 20th. It featured many, many solid winter pieces. Some noticeable ones that I think were really cool was this like patchwork Sherpa overcoat. It featured different colors of Sherpa, different colors of leather. It was just a really, really nice overcoat. Obviously very expensive. It was like $3,000 Australian or something like that, but I really liked it. Really, really solid. Not going to pick it up though because I don't have $3,000 to spend on clothing. So yeah, skip for me, but I can respect it. I can look at it and be like, damn, that's solid. I wish I had money. Next, another noticeable piece that I thought was really, really cool that released in it was the Bergdorf Goodman x Golden Bear Varsity Jacket. Yes, Kith collaborates with Golden Bear as well, like Palace did, and they released a really nice color blocking Varsity Jacket with Bergdorf. Goodman, it was just really, really nice, really, really solid there. I go into more detail about it in the Streetwear Talk video for the Kith and Kin video that I did there. So definitely go check out the Streetwear Talk video if you want me to break down that collection more. It's a long ass video. I talk about it. It's an amazing collection. But yeah, that released on November 20th, and some of it's still available if you guys are interested. Next, we have more Kith releases. We have the Kith and, well, sorry, more specifically, Ronnie Feig released a collaboration with ASSC dubbed the Palette Collection. This was to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Gel Light 3s. So Ronnie Feig released 30 colorways of the Gel Light 3 released in the color palette that he has created at his time as the director of Kith. So it's like all these amazing like stonewash looking colors, everything like that. They were very, very, very limited, like less than 5 pairs per color, right? Extremely limited. Most of them have ended up on StockX, I think. Everyone's scrambling. Everyone that wanted them is really scrambling to pick up a pair. And a lot of the hype beasts, I guess, like it went over the radar because they don't care about Gel Light 3s. So if you want them, buy them now, even at a resale price. If you want to like personally wear them and stuff, because I feel like the longer you wait, especially with these, they're gonna just be harder and harder to pick up on the secondary market. But they dropped on Black Friday. It was a very cool little Black Friday drop there. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on that capsule there down in the comment section below. Moving on to another Kith release, we had a continuation of the palette series that I just talked about. You know, the 30 colors that Johnny Figers created it at his time at Kith. He released a Monday program which consisted of 30 box logo hoodies featured in those colors. I covered it in its own Streetwear Talk video. It released a couple days after the Black Friday capsule there on November 30th. A very solid little capsule there, featured a bunch of really, really nice box logos. You guys seem to really like it there, so let me know in the comment section below if you managed to pick any of those up when it dropped on November 30th. Moving on to our favorite German streetwear brand, we have the Delschutzer released a Black Friday drop on obviously November 27th. Featured a lot of crazy pieces. It featured a Matrix hoodie, Matrix box logo hoodie at 450 GSM, 2 Akira tees, and also a very, very nice Giants Varsity jacket. This featured like a really nice Adventure Time color palette, embroidered art piece on the front. It's like something like 400,000 stitches or something like that, something absolutely wild. Retailed for like almost close to 200 euros. It was just a really, really nice piece. And then they also released a secret piece, which I didn't get to cover because they announced the secret piece like half an hour before the drop. And I was like, come on, Delschutzer, try to cover your release, man. Don't release this secret piece 30 minutes before the drop. They released a Alice in Wonderland hoodie at 550 GSM. I think that must have been delayed from when they did that Alice in Wonderland capsule a couple weeks ago. But yeah, they secretly snuck that one in the Black Friday capsule as well. If you guys are interested in that, it all sold out now, but it dropped on November 27th. Now, we discussed the sneakers that released the sneakers that released just before it and around about the same time as it, but what we are going to be discussing now is the Brain Dead Holiday 2020 collection. This featured a series of pieces of clothing. It released around November 24th-ish on normal retailers, so I don't know the actual drop date of when it released on Brain Dead. I'm assuming a couple days before, probably around the 19th, like when the Bosey pairs of the Converse released there. Some cool pieces that released in the Holiday 2020 collection is this duck knit, just a wild knit. I just thought it was really, really cool. And a fleece hoodie as well that was like cut up into different sections, and it featured fleece in different sections. I just thought it was really nice, and the colors were really nice in it as well. They released them in like a purple and a green teal. It was like really, really solid. Yeah, all those pieces there released around November 24-ish on normal retailers, and probably around the 20th on Brain Dead store. You might be able to pick it up on some retailers now, because I think it's all sold out on Brain Dead store there. Now, moving on, we had the BBC, or Billionaire Boys Club, collaborated with Timberlands to release a Beeline. This is what the capsule was called, the Beeline 6-inch boot capsule. It was essentially a reimagination of the Timberlands 6-inch boot, made to be more like a gum boot slash, no, not even like a duck boot, more like a gum boot. It released on November 19th on BBC store and on the 21st on Timberlands store. It was alright, but if I had to pick, like if someone was like, you want the BBC Timberlands or you want normal Timberlands? I think I'm just going to go normal Timberlands for that one. But if you guys are interested, you might be able to pick it up potentially still on Timberland store, or potentially even BBC's store there. I don't know if it honestly sold out there or not. Next, we've got a pretty hefty collaboration here that we talked about earlier on in the year. Next, we have that the NBA collaborated with Louis Vuitton to release some sneakers. We had the NBA Louis Vuitton Oberkampf ankle boot. This released in 2 colorways, either the beige or the black, on November 20th for $1,390 US. Very, very expensive piece there. Honestly, it kind of just looks like a Timberland boot. Not gonna lie. It just looks like a Timberland boot with NBA branding and Louis Vuitton branding, and it kind of looks off, and I would definitely not pay $1,390 US. Yeah, I don't know what Virgil's doing these days, but yeah, if you guys were interested in that, it released on November 20th. Moving on, we had another NBA Louis Vuitton shoe that released around about the same time. We had the ASSC's Derby. It released in two colorways, either the beige or the ebony. The beige was $1,140 US, while the ebony was $40 more, which was $1,180 US. I'm not a fan of the ebony pair because they're all over like iconic travel wear monogram print on a shoe. It just looks really tacky for me, and it just looks like a fake pair of Timberlands with Louis Vuitton print over the top of it. Like, I'm just not a huge fan of the like Louis Vuitton monogram on like shoes and baggage. I've seen it too much. It bores me now, and I'm just, yeah, over it. The beige colorway wasn't too bad, but again, I feel like this NBA Louis Vuitton shoes are kind of tacky. Like, I don't like them. I just don't like them. And also, they just cost so much money. And they just don't look that good. I have other things that I could definitely spend the retail price that these cost on. You know, like, I could think of better things to spend it on. But if you are interested in them, they released on November 20th. They might still potentially be available. I would hate to think all the rich kids that are buying all these up, because these ain't it, Chief. These are definitely not it, but it all released on November 20th if you guys were in. Moving on to some more, I'm going to say more conventional and more normal shoes that released in this past period. We have the Nike Dunk Low Ceramics released on November 19th for $100 US. Nice orange black re-release of a model that released, I cannot remember the original release date of these ceramics, but this is the 2020 retro of them. They're not too bad, solid colorway, 100 USD, easy cop, you know, easy cop. It's obviously all sold out now, guys, but you can pick them up on StockX if you are interested, but they retailed for 100 USD on November 19th. Next, we have my favorite fashion brand, but I come to them for their jewelry. We have that A-League Studio released some new Nike Air Force Ones. These were initially rumored to release in 2021, but they slid in for a nice little November release there. We had an all-white Air Force One releasing on November 21st, as well as a white and black pair. Very solid pairs. Do you know what I have to commend Matthew M. Williams for? The man released these shoes and releases these Air Force Ones up to a size 15. Collaboration shoes up to a size 15. I'm so happy. Still a little bit sad though, because I need the one size up. I need the size 16. So, I don't know, maybe one day I could message Matthew M. Williams and be like, hey dude, can I buy a size 16? I'll pay the retail price. I just want a size 16. Can you make me one? Yeah, no, I would absolutely love to pick up a pair of these, but unfortunately, they only go up to a size 15. But if you are interested in them, they did release on November 21st. They might still be available on A-League Studios' store page. I don't think they're still available on Nike's, but you could definitely check. The retail price is going to be quite expensive for them, though. Next, we had the Nike SB Dunk High X Concepts Turduncan release on November 23rd. This was a Thanksgiving-inspired Dunk High released for $120 US. As you can see, it takes various themes from a turkey here. It's just a wacky dunk, but it's Nike SB. So I expect a wacky dunk when I hear Nike SB, and if it's with concepts, it's going to be a wacky Nike SB. Inspired by Thanksgiving? Of course. But yeah, if you guys are interested in that, it released on November 23rd. It's probably sold out, so you're probably going to have to pick it up off the secondary market there. Next, we had that Converse collaborated with Ambush again. We've actually covered it quite a bit in the past. They released some duck boots, some all-star duck boots in either an all black or an all blue colorway. They released for $160 US on November 24th. I actually think the all black ones are really nice. I like the overall silhouette. I wouldn't mind some like two-tone colorway ones. and to really separate the color blocking and just separate the shoe up a little bit. The all blue colorway was a bit whack for me. I was kind of like, oh, okay, all blue. Ugh. But the all black pair was pretty nice. As I said, I feel like if you splash a little bit of white here and there, you could have a really nice two-tone colorway one. But yeah, if you're interested in the all black ones or the all blue ones, they released on November 24th for $160 US. Next, we had our version 2 of our G-Dragon Nike Air Force 1s. These released in white or black. I very much like the colorway and style behind these G-Dragon Air Force 1s. I like the paint swabs on the sides of the midsoles and stuff like that. They released for, according to StockX, $200 US. And they released on November 25th. I kind of like these more than the original colorway. The 2.0s are really nice. I like the white and black, but very expensive retail price there for Air Force 1s. But I reckon they're totally sold out, guys, so you'll have to pick them up off of StockX or a secondary market there. But they released on the 25th for apparently $200 US. Next, we had Doc Martens and Double Taps releasing a 1460 as part of the 1460 remastered program. We did a sneaker talk video on this one. It released on November 27th for $295 US. Yikes. It is a very, very nice piece. I like its utilitarian military inspired straps on it. I like its embossed logo on the side of it, but god damn $295 US is a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a pair of 1460s. But if you're collecting the 1460s that released as part of the 1460 remaster program, this is probably just another cost that you're gonna have to forego, right? We will cover the the December ones as well. Don't worry, we'll get around to doing that. But the November pairs that released was in collaboration with Double Taps, and it released on the 27th. Next, we have, of course, an amazing Air Jordan 4 that released on November 28th. We have the Air Jordan 4 Fire Reds releasing in OG branding on November 28th for $200 US. I unfortunately missed out, guys. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about it. I said I was going to go to a party that weekend and I was just going to like back out of the party for 10 minutes to try and pick them up. I did exactly that. I loaded up Nike Australia. Guess what, guys? The biggest size they dropped them in Nike Australia was a size 15. And when I saw that, I was just like, hell yes, bro. Thank you, Nike Australia, for not having my size. They do it for all the Jordan 1 releases. They release all the size 16s and stuff in Australia. But as soon as it's a Jordan 4 or a Jordan 3, they're like, no, Daniel, no size 16 for you. So I missed out on picking them up for retail. They're not going for a lot on the secondary market because there's no hype behind them, which is like, thank God, because then I can pick them up for like an okay price. So hopefully I'll be able to pick them up, if not this year, maybe next year. But at the same time, I've been saying the same thing about the Bread 4s for ages. So I think I just need to dive into the market and pick up a Bread 4 for whatever price they sell for. Because I just need a pair of Bread 4s, Jordan 4s in general at this point, to be honest. But yeah, the Fire Red 4s, which were a really solid release, released on the 28th for $200 US. So we had the Air Jordan 1 Black Metallic Golds released on November 30th for $170 US. Not a huge fan of this colorway. I like that it's an Air Jordan 1 high because I'm sick and tired of the mids. Sick and tired of the lows that aren't OGs, which are most of them. But it's just patent leather on a Jordan 1 where creasing is already an issue. Like, look at my goddamn Bread 1s with tumbled leather. Like, it just looks really nasty when you pick a really nasty leather and you like crease it really weirdly. Patent leather is going to be even worse than this because it's just gonna patent leather does not crease well, guys. It's not a good leather to choose, but they chose it for this release. It's going to be a miss from me on both the colorway and use of materials. It's not for me, but it did release for $170 US on November 30th, if any of you guys are interested in the release details there. Next, we had that Adidas and Noah collaborated on a Gazelle Pack, released in two colorways, either in an orange print, which was the I'm gonna say it. You're gonna look at that orange print and be like, that's gross. That was the better colorway out of the two. There was also a second colorway, which was the cheetah colorway, which, let's just not even go there. They released on December 3rd for $160 each. I'm not a fan of any of these. It is nasty. I'm sorry, Noah. You release amazing clothing, but this Adidas collaboration was not it. I'm going to say that was definitely not it. Maybe some of you guys will disagree. Let me know in that comment section below if you're actually a fan of these. Next, we had that the Air Jordan 9 released in the University Blue colorway on December 5th. For $190. Again, another release that I think is going to get overlooked. If it's not a Jordan 1, it doesn't get super hyped up. So I'm kind of cool with that. It's a nice colorway for the Jordan 9. I think the Jordan 9's a solid silhouette. I don't own any Jordan 9s. I reckon these will probably sit on a bunch of stores, or they'll probably go for pretty cheap on the secondary market. So I reckon you could pick these up for a pretty good price. I might even consider it. Honestly, once I get a pair of 4s, maybe I'll consider getting a pair of 9s or something like that. And it might be these University Blue ones. But yeah, they released on December 5th for $190. We have that the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 V2 Breads got a re-release, and boy, has that stirred up some controversy. Because all of these guys that were like hoarding pairs, being like, yeah, I'm gonna make so much money off them, just like wept a tear as it got restocked. It's tragic. You can't put your faith in Yeezy releases if you're a reseller. You can't, because they re-release all the time. There's alleged rumors that we're going to get a restock of the Zebras again, like number 6. So you just can't do it unless it's like 750s or like his actual mainline Yeezy boots, like not the Adidas collaborations but the mainline stuff. Then maybe you're safer, but you're not like completely safe. But yeah, the breads got a restock. They're currently on GOAT and on StockX for like actually not even like a bad price in my size. Would I pick them up? Nah. The 350 V2 is not a model for me. I love 80s looking basketball shoes and 90s looking basketball shoes. So for me, the 350 V2 is like the furthest thing away from exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to sneakers. So I probably won't pick a pair up. They released on December 5th for the normal $220. You can pick them up off of GOAT or StockX for around like almost 2 times the retail price, but they'll probably go down with the 350 V2s being constantly restocked. Who knows? They'll probably stay at around that price or maybe decrease a little bit, but yeah. Wild stuff. There were rumors forever that it was going to get restocked, and it finally happened. And next we have a very it's a low-key release, but it's like a big release, and nobody's really talking about it, and I was kind of surprised nobody is talking about it. But what happened on December 5th that released exclusively at Dover Street Market was that we got a Nike Blazer Mid in collaboration with Comme des Garçons and Naomi Osaka as well. This really cool Comme des Garçons blazer mid that was like graffitied all over it. It was sick, and it released with a matching t-shirt as well, which potentially might have been Dover Street Market in-store release only. I can't remember the details about the t-shirt, but talking more about the mid here. Yeah, it was just, I thought it was really sick. I thought it was a cool blazer mid. I'm a fan of the Blazers. I think the Blazers are an awesome shoe. Did they come out in 79? The Blazers come out in 79? I'm trying... It's hard remembering all the initial sneaker releases there, but it's a really sick looking shoe. This is a cool Comme des Garçons collaboration. Do I have a retail price for you guys? £100. Retailed for £100. So what's that? Like 140 USD? 150 USD? Roundabout? Like 200 Australian dollars? It's a lot of money. Well, a lot of money for Blazers. But yeah, no, really solid release, and it released on December 5th. Now next... moving on to the big release that we got to talk about, another winter collection. What we have is that Antisocial Social Club released their autumn-winter or fall-winter 2020 collection on November 21st. So this is backtracking a little bit. Look, I didn't do a video about it because I was just swamped with other releases, and honestly, the brand is a bunch of graphics being released on $10 hoodies, and I'm kind of just over that. So look, if you like some of the pieces, good on you, you do you, but for me, it's just a brand that I've skipped over completely these days. If you are interested, you can probably pick up some of these pieces on the secondary market, but the Fall Winter 2020 collection released on November 21st. And as well, quite recently, we had that Nike and Undercover collaborated for a Holiday 2020 collaboration. It was a lot smaller than their 2019 collaboration, which I noticed a lot of you guys watch my video of still, all the way back from 2019. Yeah, no, it was mainly just a like samurai utilitarian inspired two-piece. I think it was a pair of shorts and a parka. The 2019 collaboration featured a lot more. So kind of a bummer that it was so small this year, but I love Undercover, love Nike. This collaboration was all right. So yeah, that is actually, yeah, that's our last release that we're going to cover in recent releases, guys. We also had some other releases like the Kill Bill Huff collaboration as well, but like this list could go on for another 20 releases, man. So I think I'm just going to leave it there because yeah, we've covered so many recent releases now, guys, but that is it. That is section 4 done, the biggest section, guys. So, whew, I'll take a breather. Maybe I'll go make myself a coffee or something, and then I'll come back and we'll cover section 5, which is streetwear, fashion, news, and rumors, and then we'll cover the rest of the sections. But yeah, let's head on over now and go cover section 5, which is streetwear and fashion, news, and rumors. Moving on to section 5, guys, streetwear and fashion, news, and rumors. This is where we'll be covering obviously any new, rumors, news, lookbooks, anything like that in the streetwear or fashion world. To start it off with, we've got a pretty big topic to talk about. We've got to talk about that Stone Island over the past couple days has been sold to Moncler. 100% ownership, by the way, not just like partly. 100% of it has been sold to Moncler for a whopping 1.4 billion US dollars. From what I've heard, it is. Whew. Could I just a little bit of that? Just a couple mil? Just give me like 10 mil. I'll be set for the rest of my days. But yeah. Wow. No mergers are going to happen. Apparently, it's still going to stay the same relatively. But the idea is that Moncler wants to target Stone Island's new audience, the young people. Which is totally fine. But one problem, Stone Island's expensive. Most of the styles are not the styles that young people wear. So it's going to be quite difficult to do that. You're going to have to really change up the trends and aesthetics of today to really have Stone Island pop off in like youth culture right now. Because it's just, like, I can get around Stone Island overcoats and trench coats and stuff, but a lot of the stuff that they release are probably wouldn't consider wearing just because it's not me. I love my Americana, so those kind of styles just don't really fit in. But like, as I said, the overcoats and trench coats sort of can, but yeah, it's going to be tough. Very interesting that it's sold totally unexpected, totally out of nowhere, and it's sold for $1.4 billion. Moving on to an Australian streetwear brand that has recently released their lookbook for their Q4 collection, and I kind of like it that they've done it that way, that it's not like seasonal, it's just like the quarters, like Q4. So yeah, Butter Goods has released their Q4 2020 lookbook, and I was actually kind of blown away by it. I was kind of like, oh, nice. Nice pieces. And some of the photos were taken in Brisbane, I think, from memory. So I was like, damn. That's pretty cool. It's just really weird because Australia doesn't have a huge streetwear scene. We don't even have that many brands that do streetwear. We have like Perks and Mini, Butter Goods, and a couple others, like a handful of them. So it was really nice to see the photo shoot being done in Australia. Like I could see the photo, like the trees and the what, just the like landscape, and I was like, that's Australia right there. Yeah, no, it had some cool hoodies, some cool prints on some hoodies and stuff like that. And this really cool like crew neck sweater with a vinyl on it. I think it was a caterpillar on it from memory. It was really cool. Really cool little graphic there. Yeah, definitely go check out Butter Goods, guys. They have got some sick pieces coming out in their Q4 season. Moving to our next one, we have our next bit of streetwear and fashion news. We have that Drake and Nike announced a new sub-brand called, I don't know how it's pronounced, Nocta, to hint at Drake's, nocturnal lifestyle of him working really hard at night and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't fully understand the name, the reason behind the name, but it's a new clothing line between Nike and Drake. So interesting to see their collaboration go further, because there was these rumors that Drake was going to leave Nike for Adidas. Obviously that looks like it's been squashed now, and he's stuck with Nike. Interesting to see then him getting its own sub-label, which is kind of cool. I really think that this collection, or at least this sub-label, is going to primarily focus on mountain gear, parkas, you know, down jackets, stuff like that, because that's really what Drake likes to wear. A lot of potential here for some really cool pieces, really cool collaborations in the future. We're just going to have to see where it goes. But yeah, they have announced that new sub-label, so I'll be very interested to see what's released. Yoon Ambush is already showcasing one of the pieces just over the past 24 hours, so it is already hitting all the celebrities already. So it'll be interesting to see what the first release is going to be from this sub-label. Now up next, we've got another cool little lookbook you guys should check out. What we've got here is a brand called, I think it's pronounced Gort. I'm probably like totally butchering that. It's G-O-R-T, the South Korean brand. Haven't really heard too much about them. They recently showcased their lookbook for their Fall/Winter 2020 collection, and I've got to say, I was impressed. There were some sick looking pieces in this lookbook here. It is available now as of me recording this video, I think, so I think you can pick it up from their website. But it featured a lot of paisley patchwork pieces that reminded me of Kith's paisley pieces that they've released in 2020. And yeah, I'm liking paisley print. Definitely coming back, but also I like it done in patchwork, and a lot of brands are really getting around that right now. Like Kith recently did it for their Kithmas collection. Like, yeah, it's coming back, and Gort's Fall/Winter 2020 collection, it's got some sick pieces in there, guys. Definitely go check it out. I think you can check it out on their online store. I hope that they do international shipping. I don't know if they do. I've never bought from them. That's my big worry, because a lot of Asian brands don't ship internationally, so you're gonna have to check that one out for yourself, guys, to see if it is. But yeah, let me know what you think of Gort and their Fall/Winter 2020 lookbook here. Now moving on to our last bit of news/rumors in the streetwear and fashion world. This one I'm gonna have to get comfy for, because it's a little bit controversial. What has happened is Rick Owens and Moncler have collaborated to do the Genius program. Now, we have talked about the Genius program a little bit on the channel, but from what I know, the Genius program is a spotlight for contemporary designers to redesign or do some Moncler X, their brand, their designs, pieces for a little capsule, right? You know, A-Leak Studios, Matthew M. Williams, he does one. There are a bunch of other brands that does one. Obviously, Rick Owens does one, but here's where the controversy comes in. Rick Owens did one, and in the collection, there was a cap that released. Now, that's not the controversial part. It's fine that there's a cap that released in it. The controversial part is that this cap, apparently, according to some fashion Instagram pages that have unboxed it, they have said that the cap is a cheap, like $3 to $4 blank. That's the controversy. It's that Rick Owens, somebody who has their own factory that literally makes their own clothes, decided to tick off the box to say you can use a cheap ass blank for this cap. Now, that's not a huge controversial thing. Rick Owens using a blank isn't exactly an issue, because there are big designers out there that use cheap materials and everything like that to get the effect that they want, because maybe they want a piece to be on purposely not bad quality, but give off a certain vibe. That's totally fine. The issue is that Rick Owens charged like near 200 euros for this cap. That's a markup of over, what is it? No, it's not 100%. Well, yeah, it is over 100. It's some ridiculous percentage from the $5 that it costs from the cost price to the sale price of 200 euros. It's something absolutely ridiculous percentage-wise. Do the math for me. But yeah, apparently it's a blank. Don't know if there's been a statement issued about it. There probably won't be a statement issued about it. Rick Owens himself probably didn't do the cap on a blank or greenlight the blank to be used. It was probably someone in his team, but whoever did it is gonna be in a lot of trouble, because yeah, it's not looking too good. Apparently, I mean, I assume the rest of the pieces are fine. I assume all the jackets and everything that released in that capsule are going to be done in a proper factory, but yeah, app controversy for that last bit in section 5, guys. A little bit of, yeah, yikes. In the fashion world, turns out, yeah, craftsmanship is just going out the window. Yikes. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on to something a little bit less controversial, which is section 6, which is sneaker news and rumors. So let's go check out some recent sneaker news and rumors that have happened in the past week or so. Moving on to section 6, guys, sneaker news and rumors. To start it off with, we've got a nice little bit of news for us, and well, I have a rumor that we might be getting a new Nike Craft Mars Yard. What has happened is Tom Sachs has recently been spotted in another version, another sample of the Nike Craft or the Nike Mars Yard 2.5s. Again, this isn't confirmed that we're going to get a new pair or anything like that, but the big thing to take away here is that the new model that has been spotted in has a newer outsole, and the outsole is one that is being used on newer Nike models, Nike performance shoes. So potentially this could be alluding to the idea that it's maybe nearing its completion, that, you know, maybe Tom Sachs is happy with this newer model because he's finally found the right outsole that he wanted. We don't know. Who knows if it's ever going to be released? Could be a sample that he could purely just have just because he's like, you know what, I want a shoe. I just want another sample, you know? But yeah, who knows? We may see another one, because I don't know if you guys have seen them. The Mars Yards, they go for some pretty wild prices on the secondary market, and they're always really hard to pick up at retail because you have to go through courses and stuff to actually be able to get a pair. So interesting to see that we may have a new one on the way. Now, next we have to talk about Warren Lotus again. I know you guys are probably sick of him. We talk about him a lot on the podcast. I have nothing against him. He's just made some bad or rough business decisions in 2020, which have stirred up a lot of controversy. But Warren recently, by calculation, has apparently made over $10 million from the SBs that he got in trouble for. Now, this is an interesting thing because the math was done by simply going the retail price that he charged to the amount of sales that he had, but, you know, that's not factoring in costs, XYZ, the amount of refunds that he's had for these, because people obviously didn't want the Reapers, which was the alternative to the SBs that he made, or at least the Dunks that he made. And also, I mean, he's got like $2 million in lawsuits from Nike, right? Like, he's got like a lot of money being held up from him in costs. But yeah, if you tally it up, the total revenue made from the Dunks that were recently sold, about 10 mil, which is pretty wild. Pretty wild to think that because of how limited the Dunk models that he was copying off are, people were willing to total a revenue of $10 million for a bootleg version of them. I thought that was quite interesting. I don't know if anyone else finds that quite interesting, but I thought that was quite interesting that, yeah, it amasses to that total amount. But obviously, again, there's the costs, there's the amounts that have been refunded, so that's not included there. But yeah, the total is quite interesting at $10 million that he sold there from his Dunk bootlegs. Now, moving on to our last final bit of sneaker news and rumors. Allegedly, this is a big allegedly. Apparently, the Supreme Air Force Ones that, are obviously in collaboration with Nike, are the ones that release seasonally, so every season. Apparently, next year, we're getting a new colorway of them. So right now, we have either the all whites or the all blacks. You can get laces that are different, the red laces. Anyway, that doesn't change the colorway. Apparently, we're getting a third colorway next year, which is a wheat colorway. So on top of the black and white ones that are going to release again seasonally next year, apparently in spring-summer 2021, we may be getting a wheat colorway as well. Not confirmed. This only sprouted up in the past like 24 to 48 hours. No confirmation on it, but it's a rumor. So we're going to chuck it in section 6 here, guys. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Would you pick up a Nike Supreme Wheat Air Force One, or do you like the all white and all black ones? I want to hear from you. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions on that down in the comment section below. But that is everything in section 6, guys. So we will be moving on to our final two sections of this episode, which is section 7 and section 8. Of course, we will move now on to the first part of that, which is section 7, which is upcoming streetwear and fashion releases that release between the 7th of December to the 13th of December. Let's go check them out and start covering these upcoming releases. Okay, guys, upcoming streetwear and fashion releases. Now, as I said way back at the start of this podcast episode, guys, just to make you aware, the upcoming releases between the 7th of the 12th and the 13th of the 12th. So this week. So a couple of the releases, now that it's the 9th, have already happened. Same goes for the Section 8 upcoming sneaker releases on this side as well. But we'll dive into these upcoming streetwear releases, and I'm sorry if some of them have already released. Some of them I might have to go back on and do some streetwear talk videos on, just because a lot of you guys be asking for that. But to start it off with, we have that Kith is releasing the Kithmas 2020 and Kith Treats for Lucky Charms Monday program. This released on December 7th. We've already covered it in a streetwear talk video. There are a couple cool pieces here from the Kithmas collection. There was a paisley print patchwork puffer jacket, which I thought was really cool, and it was also applied to hoodies by the looks of it as well once I got a look at the collection after it released. It was very, very solid. I kind of wish there was a little bit more variety here. It was a main focus on Christmas sweaters, and as I discussed in the streetwear talk video, I'm not a huge fan of holiday wear, I would say, like, you know, Halloween stuff, Christmas stuff, because you can only really wear it once a year. So I like my versatility. So when I'd be more keen if that collection had more pieces that were versatile. But either way, it released on the 7th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Kith's online store or their in-stores there. Next, we have another Monday release. We have Del Schutzer collaborating with Aaron Nicholas, I think it is, for a Monday capsule. It released on December 7th. It had a Night in Japan fleece jacket that was 600 GSM. Kind of a cool piece, not really for me, and not really comparable to the hoodies, because even though it's 600 GSM, it's not going to be the same, you know, build, fit, and everything as the hoodies, but still a very cool piece there. We also got some more Night in Japan pieces, like some black joggers and some grey joggers. They were alright, but I'm not the biggest fan of Del Schutz's joggers. I'm not a huge fan of sweatpants slash joggers in general. More of a jeans, chinos, suit pants kind of guy. Not really a huge joggers guy, but it was a very solid capsule. I might even go back on it in a streetwear talk video, because a lot of you guys probably want me to cover it in further detail there. I'll see what I can do in regards to that there, but it released on December 7th on Monday. Next, we have the upcoming release of Supreme's 16th week of their Fall/Winter 2020 collection. This will be one of the final weeks of the collection. I reckon there's probably only one, maybe two more weeks of that season. It's mainly going to feature the North Face second collaboration. We'll cover that in its own separate streetwear talk and drop list video. This is Faux Fur inspired collaboration. I like it a lot more than the S logo stuff, but as I said, we'll dive into that in its own video there. It is going to be releasing on the 10th of December, this Thursday. Next, we have the apparel collection for the Stussy X Nike Air Force One capsule. It's going to feature puffer jackets, crew necks, long sleeves, t-shirts, all the goodies there. It's going to be releasing on the Friday, December 11th, alongside the Air Force Ones, which of course, when we flip over and go over to section 8 there, we'll cover that when we get over to there. But yeah, a very solid little capsule. I'll try and do a streetwear talk video for it, guys, but with me working and stuff, no promises. I'm probably going to be up at like 3 a.m. editing and uploading this video itself, so I'll try and get one out for you guys, but no promises there. Next, of course, also releasing on Friday, we have that Palace is releasing week 3 of their Ultimo collection. Looks like the drop list for that is going to be nothing but the Arc'teryx collaboration that was announced. I'll try and cover that in its own drop list video as well, guys, but I don't know if there's going to be any seasonal items releasing that week. It is a very interesting collaboration, which we will dive into its own video there, but that will be releasing on Friday, December 11th. Now, moving into the weekend, guys, we have one of the big releases that we're going to be talking about today, which is Golf's Winter 2020 collection. I think this is just drop 1. They usually do 1 to 2 drops of a season, so this looks like to be drop 1. It is releasing December 12th. There's some cool cardigans, cool knits, and a very nice black and white Varsity jacket that is releasing. I don't think I'm going to be going for anything because I have recently just picked up a vintage Varsity jacket, which I will hopefully get. They haven't shipped it out to me yet, so a little bit worried, but it's eBay, so it's fine. If it doesn't work out, I'll get my money back. But yeah, it's on its way. But anyway, back to golf. Yeah, no, sick collection. I will, again, try and cover it in a streetwear talk video, but we will see. We will see. But that is the last upcoming streetwear and fashion release that I have that is releasing between the 7th of December and the 13th, because I couldn't find anything that's releasing on Sunday. So we'll head on over now, have a look at section 8, which is upcoming sneaker releases. Moving on to our final section of episode 12, guys. What a big episode. Oh god, I'm gonna hate editing and uploading this. This is gonna take forever. Woo! Let's get into it. So, upcoming sneaker releases. Got to get hyped for it. So, to start it off with, we have a collaboration on an Air Jordan 1. We have, remember, this is between the 7th of the 12th and the 13th of the 12th. We have on December 8th, the Air Jordan 1 High J Balvin's releasing for $190 US. Now, this is a big collaboration. From what I know, he's the first South American to get an Air Jordan 1, from what I know. It's very J Balvin, covered in color. It reminds me of the 2019 Guess collaboration that I have sticking out over here. Very filled with color, awesome. The silhouette though, I don't know how I feel about like the shark teeth edge. The overall color itself makes it very hard to wear. It's not very versatile. So for me, probably going to be a miss. I wouldn't consider picking this up just because it's like not my thing, but I can respect it. I can be like, you know what? It's solid. There's going to be people out there that like it. Totally fair enough. But for me, it's going to be a miss for me. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on it, guys. How do you feel about the J Balvin 1? Next, we've got another release on December 8th. We've got the 5th collaboration between Crocs and Post Malone, as he is releasing 2 new Duet Mars 2s, which are a pair of Crocs, I guess. They come in either black or pink. They're releasing for $75 US. Yeah, it's pretty wild that this is happening because I consider Crocs as like a thing that you maybe go down to the store in, maybe you wear outside to do like gardening. Not something that you wear on the streets, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm out of touch. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan of either. I wouldn't pick up either, but if you were interested, it released on December 8th for $75 US. Next, we've got a dunk release happening today, actually, and it's one of my favorite dunks. What we have is the Nike Dunk High Varsity Maze, also known as the Iowa colorway, releasing for $120 US on December 9th. This is the black and yellow Dunk High, which then got transformed into the Wu-Tang Dunks when they released 36 pairs of them because they entered the 36 chambers. Yeah, it's an awesome colorway. I mean, I would love just like either a custom pair or just a pair of them, done with the Wu-Tang symbol on the back of the heel. Just love the Wu-Tang Clan, man. Easily the best hip-hop group. Easily the best hip-hop group. Easily. No contested. Yeah, no, amazing. December 9th, so today. Make sure you're there on Nike.com if you're looking to pick up a pair. Next, we've got another dunk release, one happening a little bit later on December 11th, so the Friday. We have that the Nike Dunk High Ambush are finally releasing. The black and white ones have been confirmed for December 11th. Apparently the all pink ones are also releasing the same time, but I have not seen a lot of confirmation on the pink ones, so it's a little bit sketchy on that. But yeah, it's going to be big. Don't know the retail price. Retail price is unconfirmed. But I'm thinking it's going to be around the low 100 and something USD range. Because if normal dunk highs go for about 120, the collaboration is going to be like 140, 130 maybe on a good day. I feel like 140 is a pretty safe guess. Or maybe Ambush is going to be like, no, you know what, 200 USD. I don't know, it could be the case, could be the scenario, we don't actually know. But yes, it is releasing this Friday on December 11th if you guys are interested in picking that up there. Next, we've got a release happening this Saturday. We've got Bape collaborating with the Weeknd's record label XO to release some Bapesters to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Bapester. It's releasing in two colorways, either in black or black and green or white and green. Pretty crazy Bapester. I like the XO logo on the back of the heel. I like the branding in general. It's done very well. Kind of just looks like a pair of XO Air Forces in a way. I mean, because, you know, the Bapester is based on the Air Forces. Yeah, no, I think it's kind of sick. I actually kind of like this one. Hopefully there'll be some matching apparel that goes with it, because the Bape XO collaborations are actually some of the standout collaborations that Bape actually does. But it is releasing this Saturday, December 12th. Next, of course, we just talked about the apparel, so we're now going to talk about the sneakers. We have that Nike and Stussy are collaborating on two pairs of Air Forces. One in an all black colorway, one in a fossil colorway. From what I know, these shoes uppers are made from 100% hemp, so a very sturdy material, a very carbon, I'm not going to say neutral, but not a very high carbon emitting material, because it's a plant, you literally grow it. Yeah, no, it's really, really sick. I really like it. It's going to retail for $130 and it's going to release on the Friday, December 11th. I'll try and get a streetwear talk video out covering the apparel and the sneakers. No promises though, you know, a lot going on. We'll just have to see how I go with that one. Next, we have the Air Jordan 11 Jubilee releasing on Saturday to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Jordan 11 this year for $220. It's an alright colorway. It's got a white translucent outsole and then an all black upper, which is kind of a weird vibe. I kind of would have liked the matching outsole with the matching upper, then it would have just been like, nice. Black and white colorway for the 11s, solid. But yeah, it's a bit odd. I reckon these are going to go for under retail in a couple months time, so I might consider picking up a pair of 11s, because I do not own a pair of 11s. There are so many colorways of the 11s I need to pick up, but yeah, we'll have to see. If you are interested in these though, December 12th, $220. Next, we've got another Yeezy. Next, we've got the Adidas Yeezy Boost 380 Highlight Glow, releasing apparently this Saturday for $230. Not a lot of confirmation on this one. This one's kind of iffy. It's a bit hit or miss. But yeah, $230. The colorway is like someone grabbed a white 380 and grabbed a highlighter and colored it, but maybe that's your vibe. Not my vibe though. I'm alright. So if you are keen on it, December 12th, $230. And last but not least, our final sneaker release we're going to be covering today is actually releasing today. We have Adidas and Prada collaborating on some Luna Rossa 21s. Comes in all white with the iconic Prada red strip on the back of the heel. But guess what the retail price is? You're not going to have a fun time with it, because it's Prada, because it is the Adidas collaboration. It is going to be $695, which is just absolutely insane. But if you are a fan of Prada and a fan of this model, you can pick it up for that retail price. But I just don't think that retail price can justify the model. I'm alright. I'm okay. Even if it's made in Italy, I don't care. $695. There are other things I could spend that money on, guys. But that is it. That is all the upcoming releases that we have covered, both in the sneaker and streetwear world, guys. So let me know down in that comment section below. Were there any upcoming streetwear or sneaker releases that you guys are going to be picking up this week? That concludes episode 12, guys. That is it. That is everything. I want to hear from you. What is your heat on your feet this week? What are some recent pickups that you've done? And what are some recent releases that you've really enjoyed? Or alternatively, what are some recent releases or upcoming releases that I have missed that you guys think are definitely worth mentioning? Let me know all of the recent releases or upcoming releases I may have forgotten down in that comment section below. And of course, guys, if you guys want me to keep doing upcoming sneakers and stuff episodes, so like episode 13 and stuff like that, don't forget to leave a big old like on this video, a comment in the comment section down below, and a subscribe to the channel, as we are also trying to hit a new milestone this month of 2,800 subscribers. You guys helped me reach the new milestone this month of 2,790. Hopefully before the end of 2020, hopefully before the end of December, we can hit 2,800 subscribers. But honestly, well, up to you guys. But that's everything I gotta say for episode 12, guys. I am now gonna go head off to work. I'm home from work, edit and upload this video. Oi, oi, oi. It's gonna be rough, but that's okay. That's what I'm here for, guys. So until the next Sneakers and Stuff episode, until the next Streetwear Talk episode, until the next Sneaker Talk episode, guys, I'll catch you later.